Question 1. Describe the historical significance of King Charles III's ascension to the throne in 2022. A. It marked the first time a British monarch ascended the throne in the 21st century. B. It signified the continuation of the Windsor dynasty into the third generation. C. It ended the longest reign in British history, that of Queen Elizabeth II. D. It introduced the first king of the UK in the digital age. Answer. C. It ended the longest reign in British history, that of Queen Elizabeth II. Charles III's ascension marked the end of Queen Elizabeth II's historic reign, beginning a new chapter in the British monarchy. Question 2. What are the key policies Rishi Sunak has implemented since becoming Prime Minister in 2022? A. Climate change initiatives and digital infrastructure improvement. B. Expansion of the NHS and education reform. C. Economic stabilisation measures and COVID-19 response enhancement. D. Brexit negotiations and international trade agreements. Answer. C. Economic stabilisation measures and COVID-19 response enhancement. Since taking office, Rishi Sunak has focused on policies aimed at economic recovery and addressing the ongoing challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Question 3. Detail the events leading up to the signing of the Treaty of Union in 1707. A. The English Civil War and the establishment of the Commonwealth. B. The Glorious Revolution and the Bill of Rights 1689. C. Wars of Scottish independence and the crowning of a Scottish king on the English throne. D. Economic pressures in Scotland and political negotiations with England. Answer. D. Economic pressures in Scotland and political negotiations with England. The Treaty of Union was signed after a period of economic difficulty in Scotland and extensive negotiations, leading to the political union of Scotland and England under the Kingdom of Great Britain. Question 4. Explain the impact of the English Bill of Rights, 1689, on the relationship between the monarchy and Parliament. A. It abolished the monarchy, establishing a republican form of government. B. It reinforced the divine right of kings, diminishing parliamentary power. C. It limited the powers of the monarchy and established parliamentary sovereignty. D. It merged the roles of the monarch and the Prime Minister. Answer. C. It limited the powers of the monarchy and established parliamentary sovereignty. The English Bill of Rights was a landmark document that curtailed the powers of the monarch and laid the foundation for a constitutional monarchy with parliamentary supremacy. Question 5. Who was the first Plantagenet King of England, and what was his contribution to English law? A. William the Conqueror, the introduction of the feudal system. B. Henry II, the establishment of common law and judicial reforms. C. Richard the Lionheart, the signing of the Magna Carta. D. Edward I, the creation of the first English Parliament. Answer. B. Henry II, the establishment of common law and judicial reforms. Henry II is known for his significant contributions to the development of English law, including the establishment of common law and major judicial reforms. Question 6. What role did the UK play in the formation of the United Nations? A. It was the primary host country for the UN's headquarters. B. It was one of the original signatories and a permanent member of the Security Council. C. It contributed the idea of the International Court of Justice. D. It opposed the formation of the UN, preferring to maintain the League of Nations. Answer. B. It was one of the original signatories and a permanent member of the Security Council. The UK played a crucial role in the establishment of the United Nations, being one of the founding members and securing a permanent seat on the Security Council. Question 7. How did the Great Reform Act of 1832 address the issue of electoral inequality in Britain? A. By granting voting rights to all men and women over the age of 21. B. By redistributing parliamentary seats, making representation more equitable. C. By introducing the secret ballot to prevent voter intimidation. D. By completely abolishing the House of Lords. Answer: B. By redistributing parliamentary seats, making representation more equitable. The Great Reform Act of 1832 addressed electoral inequality by redistributing seats to better reflect the population distribution, among other reforms. Question 8. What were the primary causes and outcomes of the Peasants' Revolt in 1381? A. The Black Death's impact on labour and the introduction of the poll tax. B. Discontent with the monarchy's foreign policy and military failures. C. The enclosure of common lands and the rise of agrarian capitalism. D. Religious persecution and the demand for church reform. Answer: A. The Black Death's impact on labour and the introduction of the poll tax. The Peasants' Revolt was largely fueled by socio-economic tensions following the Black Death and the imposition of a poll tax, leading to significant but ultimately suppressed uprisings. Question 9. Discuss the significance of the Battle of Britain during World War II and its impact on the UK. A. It marked the first defeat of Hitler's military forces. B. It was the turning point that led to the end of the war. C. It was a crucial aerial battle that prevented a German invasion of Britain. D. It resulted in the loss of British colonies in Asia and Africa. Answer: C. It was a crucial aerial battle that prevented a German invasion of Britain. The Battle of Britain was a key moment in World War II, demonstrating the resilience of the Royal Air Force and thwarting Germany's plans for invasion. Question 10. What led to the establishment of the Commonwealth of Nations, and how has its purpose evolved over time? A. The dissolution of the British Empire and the need for a new form of international cooperation. B. A military alliance formed during World War I. C. The signing of the Treaty of Versailles. D. The demand for a global trading bloc to compete with the United States. Answer: A. The dissolution of the British Empire and the need for a new form of international cooperation. The Commonwealth of Nations was established as a political association of former British Empire territories, evolving into an organization focused on mutual values and goals, including democracy, human rights, and economic development. Question 11. Detail the origins and consequences of the English Civil War. A. Originated from religious disputes between Catholics and Protestants, leading to the establishment of the Church of England. B. Stemmed from conflicts between the monarchy and Parliament, resulting in the execution of Charles I and the establishment of the Commonwealth. C. Began with the invasion of the Spanish Armada, ending with the Treaty of Westminster. D. Was a result of economic disagreements between the nobility and the peasantry, culminating in the Magna Carta. Answer: B. Stemmed from conflicts between the monarchy and Parliament, resulting in the execution of Charles I and the establishment of the Commonwealth. The English Civil War was a pivotal event that highlighted the struggle for power between the king and Parliament, leading to significant political change. Question 12. How did the Glorious Revolution, 1688, alter the constitutional landscape of England? A. It reaffirmed the divine right of kings. B. It led to the adoption of the American Constitution in England. C. It established a constitutional monarchy and reinforced parliamentary sovereignty. D. It resulted in England returning to Catholicism. Answer. C. It established a constitutional monarchy and reinforced parliamentary sovereignty. The Glorious Revolution marked a turning point in English governance by limiting the powers of the monarchy and laying the groundwork for modern democracy. Question 13. What was the purpose behind the construction of Hadrian's Wall, and what does it symbolize today? A. To mark the boundary of the Roman Empire and protect against northern tribes. Symbolizes Roman Britain's engineering prowess. B. To serve as a trade barrier between England and Scotland. Now symbolizes economic division. C. As a monument to Emperor Hadrian's vanity. It is a symbol of imperial overreach. D. To isolate Wales from England. Symbolizes ancient conflicts. Answer. A. To mark the boundary of the Roman Empire and protect against northern tribes. Symbolizes Roman Britain's engineering prowess. Hadrian's Wall was a defensive fortification that today symbolizes the extent of Roman influence and architectural skill. Question 14. Describe the historical context and significance of the Magna Carta in promoting legal rights. A. Signed as a peace treaty ending the 100 Years' War. It was the first document to grant rights to all English citizens. B. Established to curb the powers of the monarchy by King Henry VIII. It separated church and state. C. Signed in 1215 by King John, limiting royal authority and laying the foundation for modern legal principles. D. A document that ended serfdom in England, created during the reign of Elizabeth I. Answer. C. Signed in 1215 by King John, limiting royal authority and laying the foundation for modern legal principles. The Magna Carta is a cornerstone of legal and democratic development, establishing key rights and the principle that the king was subject to the law. Question 15. Who were the suffragettes, and what strategies did they employ to achieve women's suffrage in the UK? A. A political party in the 19th century that used peaceful lobbying to achieve voting rights for women. B. Female members of the House of Lords who passed legislation granting women the vote. C. A movement that used direct action, public protests, and hunger strikes to fight for women's voting rights. D. A group of female authors who wrote influential works advocating for gender equality. Answer. C. A movement that used direct action, public protests, and hunger strikes to fight for women's voting rights. The suffragettes were instrumental in the campaign for women's suffrage, employing a range of tactics to draw attention to their cause and pressure the government for change. Question 16. Detail the economic and social implications of the Industrial Revolution in the UK. A. Led to a decrease in urban populations as people moved back to rural areas for farming. B. Resulted in significant technological advancements but had little impact on social structures. C. Sparked major urbanization, transformed industries, and significantly altered the social fabric with the rise of the working class. D. Primarily affected the American colonies, with limited changes in Britain itself. Answer. C. Sparked major urbanization, transformed industries, and significantly altered the social fabric with the rise of the working class. The Industrial Revolution was a period of profound economic and social change, driving mass urbanization, the development of new technologies, and the emergence of new social classes. Question 17. Explain the significance of the Battle of Trafalgar and Admiral Nelson's role in it. A. A naval battle where Nelson negotiated peace terms with Napoleon, ending the Napoleonic Wars. B. Nelson led a successful invasion of France, capturing Napoleon. C. A decisive naval victory against the French and Spanish fleets, ensuring British naval supremacy and preventing Napoleon's invasion of Britain. D. A defeat for Britain that led to the loss of its colonies in America. Answer: C. A decisive naval victory against the French and Spanish fleets, ensuring British naval supremacy and preventing Napoleon's invasion of Britain. Admiral Nelson's leadership during the Battle of Trafalgar cemented his status as one of Britain's greatest military heroes and secured the nation's naval dominance. Question 18. What was the impact of the Beveridge Report on the welfare state in the UK? A. It led to the immediate dismantling of the welfare state. B. Proposed reforms that laid the foundations for the modern welfare state, including the establishment of the NHS. C. Recommended the privatization of healthcare and education. D. Focused solely on improving military veterans' benefits, with little effect on the general public. Answer: B. Proposed reforms that laid the foundations for the modern welfare state, including the establishment of the NHS. The Beveridge Report was instrumental in shaping post-war social policy in the UK, advocating for comprehensive welfare reforms to combat want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness. Question 19. Describe the contribution of the British Empire to the global spread of the English language and legal systems. A. The British Empire had minimal impact on language and legal systems outside of Europe. B. It led to the imposition of French as a global language and the spread of the Napoleonic Code. C. Through colonization and governance, English became a lingua franca, and common law influenced legal systems in many parts of the world. D. The empire focused on economic exploitation, avoiding cultural or legal impositions. Answer: C. Through colonization and governance, English became a lingua franca, and common law influenced legal systems in many parts of the world. The British Empire played a significant role in spreading the English language and the principles of common law across its territories, leaving a lasting legacy on global communication and jurisprudence. Question 20. What were the causes and effects of the Highland clearances in Scotland? A. Caused by agricultural reforms, resulting in mass emigration and changes in the Scottish rural landscape. B. A movement initiated by the Scottish monarchy to expand urban development into the Highlands. C. The result of a treaty with England, leading to the peaceful relocation of Highlanders to the lowlands. D. A series of battles for independence from Britain, leading to significant population displacement. Answer: A. Caused by agricultural reforms, resulting in mass emigration and changes in the Scottish rural landscape. The Highland clearances were characterised by the eviction of tenants and the transformation of traditional land use, significantly affecting Scottish culture and demographics. Question 21. How did the Acts of Union 1800 differ from the Act of Union 1707, and what were their respective outcomes? A. The 1707 Act united England and Scotland. The 1800 Act added Ireland to create the United Kingdom. B. The 1707 Act focused on trade agreements. The 1800 Act was about military alliance. C. The 1707 Act established a single parliament in London. The 1800 Act dissolved the Scottish Parliament. D. The 1707 Act was about colonial expansion. The 1800 Act dealt with the abolition of the slave trade. Answer: A. The 1707 Act united England and Scotland. The 1800 Act added Ireland to create the United Kingdom. These Acts of Union were pivotal in forming the United Kingdom. integrating Ireland into the union already established between England and Scotland. Question 22. Detail the significance of the decolonisation process after World War II on the British Empire. A. Led to the rapid expansion of the British Empire. B. Resulted in the independence of many colonies, significantly reducing the empire's size and influence. C. Had little impact, with most colonies choosing to remain under British control. D. The British Empire transitioned to a federal system, granting autonomy to colonies. Answer. B. Resulted in the independence of many colonies, significantly reducing the empire's size and influence. Decolonisation marked a major shift in global power dynamics, as numerous countries gained independence from British rule. Question 23. What were the main factors leading to the UK's decision to join the European Economic Community in 1973? A. A desire to strengthen military alliances. B. Economic reasons and the prospect of accessing a larger market. C. The UK was seeking additional territories. D. Pressure from the United States. Answer. B. Economic reasons and the prospect of accessing a larger market. Joining the EEC was seen as a way to stimulate economic growth by participating in a larger integrated European market. Question 24. Discuss the implications of the Good Friday Agreement on peace in Northern Ireland. A. It ended the English Civil War. B. It established Northern Ireland as an independent country. C. It was a landmark peace deal that significantly reduced violence and laid the groundwork for political cooperation. D. Had no significant impact on the situation in Northern Ireland. Answer. C. It was a landmark peace deal that significantly reduced violence and laid the groundwork for political cooperation. The Good Friday Agreement of 1998 was crucial in resolving the conflict in Northern Ireland, promoting peace and reconciliation. Question 25. How did the UK's legal system evolve from feudalism to the modern rule of law? A. Through the immediate abolishment of feudal practices in the Magna Carta. B. Via a gradual process of reform, starting with the Magna Carta and evolving through significant legal documents and practices. C. The UK skipped feudalism entirely, adopting the rule of law from its inception. D. Through a revolution that overthrew the monarchy and established a republic. Answer. B. Via a gradual process of reform, starting with the Magna Carta and evolving through significant legal documents and practices. The transition from feudalism to a system based on the rule of law involved centuries of legal development and reform. Question 26. What role did Britain play in the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade? A. Britain was the last European country to abolish the slave trade. B. It led the efforts to abolish the trade, culminating in the Slave Trade Act of 1807. C. Britain had no significant role in the abolition movement. D. It opposed abolition efforts until the late 19th century. Answer. B. It led the efforts to abolish the trade, culminating in the Slave Trade Act of 1807. Britain played a pivotal role in ending the transatlantic slave trade, becoming one of the first nations to enact legislation prohibiting the trade. Question 27. Detail the origins and impact of the British welfare state established post-World War II. A. Originated from the Victorian era's social reforms, it minimally impacted British society. B. Established by the Beveridge Report, it created comprehensive social security and healthcare systems, transforming social welfare. C. A concept imported from the United States in the 1960s, focusing solely on healthcare. D. Developed as a response to the Great Depression, It had limited influence on post-war reconstruction. Answer B. Established by the Beveridge Report, it created comprehensive social security and healthcare systems, transforming social welfare. The welfare state significantly improved living standards and provided a safety net for the British population. Question 28. How did the swinging 60s influence British culture and society? A. Marked by conservative values and economic decline. B. Characterized by cultural revolution, with significant changes in music, fashion, and social norms. C. Focused on technological advancements with little cultural impact. D. A period of isolationism in British foreign policy. Answer B. Characterized by cultural revolution, with significant changes in music, fashion, and social norms. The swinging 60s was a transformative decade that saw Britain leading in cultural trends, impacting global culture. Question 29. What was the significance of the Reform Acts in expanding the franchise in the 19th and early 20th centuries? A. They restricted voting rights to a small elite. B. They gradually extended voting rights to wider sections of society, including working-class men and eventually women. C. They abolished the monarchy's involvement in elections. D. Focused solely on reforming the House of Lords. Answer B. They gradually extended voting rights to wider sections of society, including working-class men and eventually women. The Reform Acts were crucial in democratizing the British electoral system, making it more representative of the population. Question 30. Describe the historical importance of the Battle of Agincourt in 1415. A. It was a minor skirmish with little impact on English or French history. B. A decisive victory for Henry V of England. It had a significant impact on the 100 Years' War. C. Led to the end of the Viking invasions of England. D. Resulted in the loss of English territories in France. Answer B. A decisive victory for Henry V of England. It had a significant impact on the 100 Years' War. The Battle of Agincourt is celebrated for its demonstration of English military prowess and its role in the national identity. Question 31. How has the concept of British identity been influenced by historical events such as wars, colonialism, and immigration? A. It remained unchanged since the medieval period. B. It has evolved to become inclusive, reflecting a diverse and multicultural society shaped by its history. C. It is solely based on the English language and Christian religion. D. It has become less important, with regional identities taking precedence. Answer B. It has evolved to become inclusive, reflecting a diverse and multicultural society shaped by its history. British identity today is influenced by a complex history of empire, wars, and significant immigration, creating a rich multicultural tapestry. Question 32. What were the consequences of the Suez Crisis of 1956 for Britain's global standing? A. It enhanced Britain's position as a world superpower. B. It had no significant impact on Britain's global standing. C. It marked a decline in Britain's imperial influence, highlighting its dependence on the United States. D. It led to the expansion of the British Empire in the Middle East. Answer C. It marked a decline in Britain's imperial influence, highlighting its dependence on the United States. The Suez Crisis is often cited as a moment that illustrated Britain's diminished status as a global power post-World War II. Question 33. Detail the role of the Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher, in transforming the UK's economy and society. A. She is remembered for her policies that increased state control over the economy. B. Thatcher implemented neoliberal policies, emphasizing deregulation, privatization, and a reduced role for the state. C. Her tenure was marked by significant expansion of the welfare state. D. She focused primarily on environmental conservation efforts. Answer. B. Thatcher implemented neoliberal policies, emphasizing deregulation, privatization, and a reduced role for the state. Margaret Thatcher's premiership was characterized by significant economic and social reforms that have had a lasting impact on British society. Question 34. How did the partition of India in 1947 affect British-Indian relations? A. It had no impact on relations, which remained unchanged. B. It strengthened the economic ties between the two nations. C. It led to a brief period of hostility, followed by a strengthening of the Commonwealth relationship. D. It resulted in immediate military conflict between Britain and India. Answer. C. It led to a brief period of hostility, followed by a strengthening of the Commonwealth relationship. The partition was a complex and traumatic event, but ultimately led to India's independence and a new phase in British-Indian relations within the Commonwealth framework. Question 35. What led to Scotland's referendum on independence in 2014, and what was the outcome? A. It was a spontaneous decision with no prior discussion, resulting in Scotland's independence. B. Driven by historical, cultural, and political factors, the referendum resulted in a decision to remain part of the United Kingdom. C. It was solely based on economic disagreements, leading to immediate independence. D. The referendum was a formality, with both sides agreeing to maintain the status quo regardless of the outcome. Answer. B. Driven by historical, cultural, and political factors, the referendum resulted in a decision to remain part of the United Kingdom. The vote was a significant moment in Scottish history, reflecting deep-seated questions about national identity and autonomy. Question 36. Discuss the historical significance of the Stone of Scone in the coronation of English and British monarchs. A. It's a modern sculpture with no historical significance. B. Used in the coronation of monarchs, symbolizing the unity of the Scottish and English crowns. C. It was used to signify the defeat of English monarchs by Scottish forces. D. It represents the legal transfer of power from the monarchy to Parliament. Answer. B. Used in the coronation of monarchs, symbolizing the unity of the Scottish and English crowns. The Stone of Scone has a storied history, representing the ancient lineage of Scottish kings, and its incorporation into English and later British coronation traditions underscores the shared heritage of the UK. Question 37. How did the Enclosure Acts contribute to the Industrial Revolution in Britain? A. By discouraging agricultural innovation and maintaining traditional farming methods. B. They had no impact on the Industrial Revolution. C. By consolidating land and promoting agricultural efficiency, leading to labour migration to cities and industrial growth. D. By redistributing land equally among the population, preventing industrial development. Answer. C. By consolidating land and promoting agricultural efficiency, leading to labour migration to cities and industrial growth. The Enclosure Acts played a crucial role in transforming the agricultural landscape, facilitating the accumulation of capital and the availability of labour necessary for industrialisation. Question 38. What impact did the Black Death have on medieval England society and economy? A. It led to a significant increase in the population. B. It had minimal impact, with society and the economy quickly recovering. C. It caused widespread mortality, leading to labour shortages, higher wages for peasants, and social upheaval. D. It resulted in the end of feudalism overnight. Answer: C. It caused widespread mortality, leading to labor shortages, higher wages for peasants, and social upheaval. The Black Death dramatically altered the demographic and economic landscape of medieval England, contributing to long-term social and economic changes. Question 39. Describe the role and powers of the Speaker of the House of Commons. A. The Speaker acts as the head of the UK government. B. The Speaker's role is purely ceremonial, with no actual powers. C. The Speaker presides over debates, ensuring order and neutrality, and represents the Commons to the monarch and in ceremonial functions. D. The Speaker is responsible for foreign policy decisions. Answer: C. The Speaker presides over debates, ensuring order and neutrality, and represents the Commons to the monarch and in ceremonial functions. This role is pivotal in maintaining the integrity and functionality of parliamentary proceedings. Question 40. What are the Crown dependencies, and how do they differ from British overseas territories? A. Crown dependencies are independent nations that have chosen to remain under British protection, whereas overseas territories are directly governed by Britain. B. Both are fully integrated parts of the United Kingdom with representation in Parliament. C. Crown dependencies have their own governments and legal systems but are not sovereign nations. Overseas territories are under UK sovereignty but have more autonomy. D. Crown dependencies are parts of the UK, while overseas territories are not. Answer: C. Crown dependencies have their own governments and legal systems, but are not sovereign nations. Overseas territories are under UK sovereignty, but have more autonomy. This distinction highlights the different relationships these territories have with the UK, with Crown dependencies enjoying a closer, more autonomous relationship compared to the more directly governed overseas territories. Question 41. How did the Viking invasions influence the development of the English legal system and language? A. They had no significant impact on England. B. Vikings introduced democratic assemblies known as things, which influenced English governance. C. Viking laws completely replaced existing English legal practices. D. The invasions led to the isolation of England from the rest of Europe, stalling legal and linguistic development. Answer: B. Vikings introduced democratic assemblies known as things, which influenced English governance. These assemblies contributed to the development of local governance practices in England. Question 42. Detail the significance of the Chartist movement in the history of British democracy. A. It was a fleeting movement with little impact on British society. B. The movement successfully implemented immediate electoral reform. C. It was a significant working-class movement demanding parliamentary reform and universal male suffrage, setting the stage for future democratic advancements. D. The Chartist movement focused exclusively on economic reforms, ignoring demands for political change. Answer: C. It was a significant working-class movement demanding parliamentary reform and universal male suffrage, setting the stage for future democratic advancements. The Chartist movement is recognized for its role in advocating for greater democracy in Britain. Question 43. What role did British inventors and scientists play in the technological advances of the 18th and 19th centuries? A. British contributions were minimal compared to other European countries. B. They led significant advances, including the steam engine, which fueled the Industrial Revolution. C. British inventors focused primarily on military technology, neglecting civilian applications. D. They were isolated from the rest of Europe, hindering significant technological contributions. Answer B. They led significant advances, including the steam engine, which fueled the Industrial Revolution. British inventors and scientists were at the forefront of technological innovation during this period. Question 44. How did World War I reshape British society and its political landscape? A. The war had little effect on British society, which remained largely unchanged. B. It led to significant social changes, including the role of women in society, and laid the groundwork for the welfare state. C. World War I primarily affected Britain's colonies, with minimal impact on the mainland. D. The war resulted in the loss of British territories in Europe. Answer B. It led to significant social changes, including the role of women in society, and laid the groundwork for the welfare state. The aftermath of World War I saw profound shifts in British society and politics, including greater social mobility and political engagement. Question 45. What was the impact of the Tudor period on the religious landscape of England? A. It solidified Catholicism as the dominant religion in England. B. The period was marked by religious stability and lack of significant change. C. The Tudor monarchs, particularly Henry VIII and Elizabeth I, initiated reforms that led to the establishment of the Church of England. P. It introduced Buddhism to England. Answer C. The Tudor monarchs, particularly Henry VIII and Elizabeth I, initiated reforms that led to the establishment of the Church of England. This period was transformative for English religion, resulting in significant shifts away from Catholicism. Question 46. Discuss the implications of Brexit for the UK's constitutional and legal framework. A. Brexit simplified the UK's legal system by automatically adopting EU laws. B. The implications were purely economic, with no legal or constitutional changes. C. Brexit has led to a re-evaluation and adaptation of legal and constitutional frameworks to manage the UK's departure from the EU. D. It resulted in the UK's immediate re-entry into the EU under a new treaty. Answer C. Brexit has led to a re-evaluation and adaptation of legal and constitutional frameworks to manage the UK's departure from the EU. This process involves significant changes to legislation and governance structures to reflect the new relationship with the EU. Question 47. How did the Great Fire of London in 1666 influence urban development and fire safety regulations? A. It had little impact, with London quickly rebuilding without changes. B. The fire led to major urban planning reforms and the introduction of the first fire safety regulations. C. London abandoned wooden construction entirely in favour of stone. D. The fire prompted the immediate creation of a modern firefighting service. Answer B. The fire led to major urban planning reforms and the introduction of the first fire safety regulations. The devastation caused by the Great Fire prompted changes to building materials and methods, as well as the establishment of more organized fire control measures. Question 48. What factors contributed to the rise and fall of the British Empire? A. The empire solely expanded through peaceful trade and diplomacy, eventually dissolving due to economic pressures. B. Military conquest, industrial supremacy, and effective governance fueled its rise. Decolonization and changing global dynamics led to its decline. C. The empire was an accidental byproduct of Britain's search for new markets and was abandoned when no longer profitable. D. The British Empire collapsed entirely due to internal revolts across its colonies with no external pressures. Answer B. Military conquest, industrial supremacy, and effective governance fueled its rise. Decolonization and changing global dynamics led to its decline. The British Empire's expansion and subsequent contraction were influenced by a complex interplay of economic, political, and social factors. Question 49. Detail the significance of Queen Elizabeth I's reign in establishing England as a maritime power. A. Her reign had minimal impact on England's maritime status. B. Elizabeth I's support for naval expeditions and defeat of the Spanish Armada established England's naval dominance and global maritime power. C. She focused on land warfare, neglecting the navy. D. Elizabeth I disbanded the navy, relying on alliances for protection. Answer: B. Elizabeth I's support for naval expeditions and defeat of the Spanish Armada established England's naval dominance and global maritime power. Her patronage of explorers and naval commanders laid the groundwork for England's later imperial ventures. Question 50. How did the Welfare Reform Act of 2012 change the social security system in the UK? A. It expanded the welfare state significantly, increasing benefits across the board. B. The Act introduced stricter eligibility criteria for welfare benefits to encourage employment and reduce dependency. C. It abolished all forms of welfare benefits. D. The reform focused exclusively on healthcare, leaving other welfare benefits unchanged. Answer: B. The Act introduced stricter eligibility criteria for welfare benefits to encourage employment and reduce dependency. The Welfare Reform Act of 2012 aimed to overhaul the social security system, promoting work as the most sustainable route out of poverty. Question 51. What were the social and political impacts of the miners' strike of 1984–85? A. It led to significant improvements in miners' wages and working conditions. B. The strike marked a turning point in British industrial relations, weakening the power of trade unions and emphasizing the shift towards a service-based economy. C. The strike had little to no impact on social or political structures in the UK. D. It resulted in the nationalisation of all coal mines in the UK. Answer: B. The strike marked a turning point in British industrial relations, weakening the power of trade unions and emphasising the shift towards a service-based economy. The miners' strike is often seen as a key event in the decline of heavy industry in Britain and the rise of neoliberal economic policies. Question 52. How has the UK's relationship with the Commonwealth evolved since the mid-20th century? A. The UK has severed all formal ties with the Commonwealth. B. The relationship has remained static, with the UK exerting direct control over Commonwealth countries. C. The UK's role in the Commonwealth has shifted from imperial hegemon to equal member, focusing on mutual cooperation and development. D. The Commonwealth has transformed into a European Union-style political union, with the UK as its head. Answer: C. The UK's role in the Commonwealth has shifted from imperial hegemon to equal member, focusing on mutual cooperation and development. This change reflects the evolution from a colonial relationship to one based on shared values and democratic principles. Question 53. Describe the influence of the Scottish Enlightenment on modern philosophy and economics. A. It had minimal influence, with most ideas being disregarded by contemporary thinkers. B. The Scottish Enlightenment introduced key concepts in human rights, democracy, and free market economics, influencing figures like Adam Smith and David Hume. C. It primarily focused on scientific discoveries, with little contribution to philosophy or economics. D. The movement led to the rejection of Enlightenment principles advocating for a return to medieval scholasticism. Answer B. The Scottish Enlightenment introduced key concepts in human rights, democracy, and free market economics, influencing figures like Adam Smith and David Hume. This period was marked by significant intellectual advancements that have had a lasting impact on Western thought. Question 54. What role did British women play in the workforce during World War II? A. Their participation in the workforce decreased as men returned from the war. B. British women were largely excluded from the workforce and focused on domestic roles. C. They played a crucial role, filling roles in factories, offices, and the military, significantly altering gender roles and perceptions. D. Women's participation was limited to volunteer work and charitable organizations. Answer C. They played a crucial role, filling roles in factories, offices, and the military, significantly altering gender roles and perceptions. The involvement of women in the workforce during World War II marked a pivotal change in the societal role of women in Britain. Question 55. How did the introduction of the railways in the 19th century impact British society and economy? A. It had a minimal impact, with most people continuing to rely on horse-drawn transportation. B. The railways revolutionized transport and commerce, facilitating rapid industrial growth and urbanization. C. Railways led to a decline in industrial productivity due to constant strikes. D. The introduction of railways resulted in widespread rural depopulation and economic decline. Answer B. The railways revolutionized transport and commerce, facilitating rapid industrial growth and urbanization. This transformation allowed for faster movement of goods and people, contributing significantly to the economic and social development of Britain. Question 56. Discuss the historical and cultural significance of the English language as a global lingua franca. A. Its status is a recent phenomenon, resulting solely from the Internet and global media. B. The spread of English is primarily attributed to American influence in the 20th century. C. The global prominence of English stems from the British Empire's historical reach and the language's role in international business, science, and culture. D. English became the global lingua franca following a unanimous decision by the United Nations. Answer C. The global prominence of English stems from the British Empire's historical reach and the language's role in international business, science, and culture. This widespread use reflects centuries of colonialism, trade, and cultural exchange. Question 57. What was the role of the Privy Council in the governance of the British Empire? A. It served as the main legislative body, replacing Parliament. B. The Privy Council was primarily responsible for military decisions and defence. C. It acted as a body of advisors to the monarch, playing a key role in imperial governance and legal matters. D. Its role was limited to ceremonial functions, with no real power or influence. Answer C. It acted as a body of advisors to the monarch, playing a key role in imperial governance and legal matters. The Privy Council's involvement in colonial affairs and its judicial functions made it an integral part of the Empire's administration. Question 58. How did the British legal tradition of common law develop, and what are its key principles? A. Common law emerged from European civil law systems, focusing on codified statutes. B. It developed through royal decrees, with the monarch as the sole legal authority. C. Common law evolved from judicial decisions and precedent, emphasizing the principles of justice, equity, and the protection of rights. D. The The tradition was imported from the colonies, adapting foreign legal principles. Answer: C. Common law evolved from judicial decisions and precedent, emphasizing the principles of justice, equity, and the protection of rights. This legal system is characterized by its reliance on case law and the doctrine of precedent, forming the basis of the legal framework in the UK and other countries. Question 59. What factors led to the formation of the United Kingdom's National Health Service in 1948? A. The desire to boost the private healthcare sector. B. A response to the healthcare needs highlighted by World War II, aiming to provide free healthcare to all citizens. C. The influence of American healthcare models. D. It was established as a temporary measure during a health crisis, intended to be disbanded post-crisis. Answer: B. A response to the healthcare needs highlighted by World War II, aiming to provide free healthcare to all citizens. The establishment of the NHS marked a significant development in British social welfare, based on the principles of universality and accessibility. Question 60. Detail the origins and outcomes of the Anglo-Zanzibar War of 1896. A. It was a conflict over trade routes with China, resulting in a stalemate. B. Originating from a dispute over the Zanzibar throne, it was the shortest recorded war, ending in British victory and establishing a protectorate. C. The war was fought over the abolition of slavery, with Zanzibar emerging victorious. D. It was a prolonged conflict that resulted in significant territorial changes in Africa. Answer: B. Originating from a dispute over the Zanzibar throne, it was the shortest recorded war, ending in British victory and establishing a protectorate. This brief conflict underscored British imperial influence and the strategic importance of Zanzibar. Question 61. How did the Victorian era influence global perceptions of Britain? A. It was seen as a period of decline in British influence. B. The era is mostly remembered for its cultural isolation from Europe. C. It established Britain as a leading industrial, cultural, and imperial power, epitomizing the height of the British Empire. D. The era focused solely on domestic reforms, with little impact on Britain's global standing. Answer: C. It established Britain as a leading industrial, cultural, and imperial power, epitomizing the height of the British Empire. The Victorian era marked a time of significant expansion and influence, shaping global perceptions of Britain as a dominant world power. Question 62. What are the historical roots and implications of the doctrine of parliamentary sovereignty? A. Originating from the divine right of kings, it implies the monarch's absolute power. B. Stemming from the Magna Carta, it suggests that all laws must have royal assent. C. Developed during the Glorious Revolution, it establishes Parliament as the supreme legal authority, able to create or end any law. D. Introduced by the Roman Empire, indicating the Senate's control over British laws. Answer: C. Developed during the Glorious Revolution, it establishes Parliament as the supreme legal authority, able to create or end any law. The doctrine of parliamentary sovereignty is a cornerstone of the UK's constitutional framework, emphasising the central role of Parliament in the legal system. Question 63. How did the Gunpowder Plot of 1605 influence British politics and society? A. It led to a significant reduction in the powers of the monarchy. B. The plot had no lasting impact, being quickly forgotten by the public and politicians. C. It intensified anti-Catholic sentiment and led to stricter laws against Catholics. D. It resulted in greater autonomy for local governments. Answer: C. It intensified anti-Catholic sentiment and led to stricter laws against Catholics. The gunpowder plot is remembered as a failed attempt to overthrow the government, leading to decades of suspicion and persecution of Catholics in Britain. Question 64. Discuss the evolution of Britain's foreign policy from the 19th century to the post-World War II era. A. Britain's foreign policy remained aggressive and expansionist throughout. B. The focus shifted from empire building to decolonization and playing a key role in international organizations like the UN and NATO. C. Britain withdrew from all foreign engagements to focus solely on domestic issues. D. There was a continuous effort to re-establish the British Empire's former territories. Answer B. The focus shifted from empire building to decolonization and playing a key role in international organizations like the UN and NATO. This shift reflects changes in global dynamics and Britain's adaptation to a new world order. Question 65. What was the significance of the Battle of the Somme in World War I for Britain? A. It marked a quick and decisive victory that ended the war. B. The battle had minimal strategic importance and is not remembered today. C. It was one of the bloodiest battles, symbolizing the horrors of trench warfare and having a profound impact on British military and public consciousness. D. It led to the immediate capture of Berlin by British forces. Answer C. It was one of the bloodiest battles, symbolizing the horrors of trench warfare and having a profound impact on British military and public consciousness. The Battle of the Somme is remembered for its high casualties and the questions it raised about military strategy and leadership. Question 66. How has immigration shaped modern British society and culture? A. Immigration has had little impact on British society, which remains largely homogeneous. B. It has enriched the cultural landscape, making the UK one of the most diverse and cosmopolitan countries in the world. C. Immigration led to the isolation of the UK from the rest of Europe. D. The impact of immigration has been solely negative, leading to widespread social unrest. Answer B. It has enriched the cultural landscape, making the UK one of the most diverse and cosmopolitan countries in the world. The contributions of immigrants have profoundly influenced British culture, cuisine, music, and public life. Question 67. What legal and societal impacts did the Marriage, Same-Sex Couples, Act 2013 have in the UK? A. It had no significant impact, as same-sex marriage was already widely accepted. B. The Act legalised same-sex marriage in England and Wales, marking a significant step towards equality and changing societal attitudes towards LGBTQ+ rights. C. It led to the immediate repeal of all laws regarding marriage. D. The Act restricted the rights of same-sex couples, limiting marriage to opposite-sex couples only. Answer B. The Act legalised same-sex marriage in England and Wales, marking a significant step towards equality and changing societal attitudes towards LGBTQ+ rights. This legislation represented a milestone in the fight for equality and recognition of LGBTQ+ relationships. Question 68. Detail the British contributions to the exploration and mapping of the world during the Age of Discovery. A. British explorers played a minor role, with other European nations leading the way. B. The contributions were limited to the Arctic regions. C. British explorers like Sir Francis Drake and Captain James Cook were pivotal, charting unknown territories and facilitating global navigation and trade. D. Britain focused exclusively on commercial ventures, avoiding exploration. Answer C. British explorers like Sir Francis Drake and Captain James Cook were pivotal, charting unknown territories and facilitating global navigation and trade. Their voyages contributed significantly to the expansion of knowledge and the establishment of British influence across the world. Question 69. How did the English Reformation under Henry VIII change the religious and political landscape of England? A. It consolidated the Catholic Church's power in England. B. It had little impact, with most English citizens remaining loyal to the Pope. C. The Reformation led to the establishment of the Church of England, with the monarch as its supreme head, marking a significant shift in religious and political authority. D. Henry VIII's reforms were quickly reversed, leaving no lasting effect. Answer. C. The Reformation led to the establishment of the Church of England, with the monarch as its supreme head, marking a significant shift in religious and political authority. This change had profound implications for religious practice, governance, and individual rights in England. Question 70. Discuss the significance of the Falklands War in 1982 for British foreign policy and national identity. A. The war had a negligible impact on British foreign policy and national identity. B. It resulted in a shift towards a pacifist stance in international conflicts. C. The conflict affirmed Britain's military capabilities and bolstered national pride, impacting its stance on sovereignty and international relations. D. It led to the immediate abandonment of overseas territories. Answer. C. The conflict affirmed Britain's military capabilities and bolstered national pride, impacting its stance on sovereignty and international relations. The Falklands War is often cited as a turning point, reinforcing Britain's commitment to defending its interests and contributing to a renewed sense of national identity. Question 71. What impact did the digital revolution have on the UK's economy and society at the turn of the 21st century? A. It led to a decline in technological innovation and investment. B. The digital revolution significantly boosted the economy, creating new industries and transforming everyday life through advancements in communication and information technology. C. It isolated the UK from global technological advancements. D. The impact was limited to the entertainment industry, with minimal effects on the broader economy and society. Answer. B. The digital revolution significantly boosted the economy, creating new industries and transforming everyday life through advancements in communication and information technology. This transformation has made the UK a leading digital economy. Question 72. How did the Corn Laws affect British agriculture and politics in the 19th century? A. They encouraged the import of cheap grain, benefiting the urban poor. B. The Corn Laws imposed tariffs on imported grain, leading to high food prices and sparking political conflict between agricultural landowners and urban interests, ultimately resulting in their repeal. C. They had no significant impact, as they were quickly repealed with little opposition. D. The laws led to an immediate increase in agricultural productivity and self-sufficiency. Answer. B. The Corn Laws imposed tariffs on imported grain, leading to high food prices and sparking political conflict between agricultural landowners and urban interests, ultimately resulting in their repeal. This conflict highlighted the divide between the agrarian aristocracy and the growing urban industrial class. Question 73. What role did Britain play in the development of modern sports such as football, cricket, and tennis? A. Britain had a minimal role, with these sports originating and developing in other countries. B. While these sports were played informally, it was in Britain that they were codified with formal rules, leading to organized competition and global dissemination. C. Britain solely focused on traditional sports, resisting the introduction of new athletic activities. D. These sports were discouraged in Britain in favour of more intellectual pursuits. Answer. B. While these sports were played informally, it was in Britain that they were codified with formal rules, leading to organised competition and global dissemination. Britain is often credited with the codification and international spread of many sports. Question 74. Detail the significance of the Battle of Waterloo in 1815 for Europe and Britain. A. It was a minor conflict that had little lasting impact on European politics. B. The battle resulted in a significant expansion of the British Empire into mainland Europe. C. Waterloo was a decisive victory that ended Napoleon's rule, restoring stability to Europe and solidifying Britain's role as a leading power. D. The battle marked the beginning of France's dominance over Europe. Answer. C. Waterloo was a decisive victory that ended Napoleon's rule, restoring stability to Europe and solidifying Britain's role as a leading power. This victory had far-reaching consequences for the political landscape of Europe. Question 75. How did the British approach to colonial governance vary across its empire, and what were the lasting effects? A. Governance was uniform across all colonies, with no variation in policy or approach. B. British colonial governance ranged from direct control to the use of protectorates and dominions, leaving a complex legacy of economic development and political structures. C. The British Empire focused solely on economic exploitation, avoiding any form of governance. D. All colonies were granted immediate independence, resulting in stable transitions without conflict. Answer. B. British colonial governance ranged from direct control to the use of protectorates and dominions, leaving a complex legacy of economic development and political structures. This varied approach has had lasting impacts on the former colonies' political, social, and economic landscapes. Question 76. Discuss the role of British literature in shaping the country's cultural identity. A. British literature had little influence on the country's cultural identity, which was shaped more by external factors. B. The rich tradition of British literature, from Shakespeare to contemporary authors, has played a pivotal role in defining values, language, and cultural norms, both domestically and internationally. C. British literature focused solely on historical documentation, with no influence on culture. D. Literature in Britain has always been heavily censored, preventing it from having any significant impact on cultural identity. Answer. B. The rich tradition of British literature, from Shakespeare to contemporary authors, has played a pivotal role in defining values, language, and cultural norms, both domestically and internationally. This body of work is central to understanding British cultural identity. Question 77. What impact did the credit crunch of 2008 have on the UK's financial sector and economy? A. It led to a brief period of economic growth due to increased lending. B. The financial crisis had no significant impact on the UK, which remained largely unaffected. C. It resulted in a severe economic downturn, leading to government intervention in the banking sector and widespread austerity measures. D. The UK used the opportunity to completely deregulate the financial sector. Answer. C. It resulted in a severe economic downturn, leading to government intervention in the banking sector and widespread austerity measures. The credit crunch profoundly affected the UK, highlighting vulnerabilities in the financial system and leading to significant economic challenges. Question 78. How has the concept of Britishness evolved in the context of multiculturalism and globalization. A. It has become more inclusive, reflecting the diverse and multicultural nature of modern British society. B. Britishness has reverted to its historical mono-ethnic origins, projecting influences of multiculturalism. C. The concept has remained unchanged for centuries, unaffected by globalization or multiculturalism. D. Globalization has erased any distinct sense of Britishness, leaving it without any specific cultural markers. Answer. A. It has become more inclusive, reflecting the diverse and multicultural nature of modern British society. The evolution of Britishness in the face of globalization and multiculturalism showcases the adaptability and inclusivity of national identity in the modern era. Question 79. What challenges and opportunities did the UK face in the transition to a post-industrial economy in the late 20th century? A. The transition was seamless, with no significant challenges or opportunities. B. Challenges included industrial decline and unemployment. Opportunities arose in the services sector, technology, and financial services, driving economic diversification. C. The UK resisted the transition, maintaining its focus on heavy industry. D. The transition primarily offered opportunities in agricultural expansion, with few challenges. Answer. B. Challenges included industrial decline and unemployment. Opportunities arose in the services sector, technology, and financial services, driving economic diversification. This period was marked by significant economic restructuring, reflecting broader global trends. Question 80. Detail the historical context and implications of the Human Rights Act 1998 for civil liberties in the UK. A. The Act restricted civil liberties to enhance national security. B. It marked the UK's withdrawal from the European Convention on Human Rights. C. The Human Rights Act incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights into UK law, significantly enhancing the protection of civil liberties. D. The Act had little impact, as similar protections were already well established in UK law. Answer C. The Human Rights Act incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights into UK law, significantly enhancing the protection of civil liberties. This legislation represented a major step forward in the legal protection of human rights within the UK.